Hello, everybody. I'm live with Simone, and we are back after a very long break. We took a break over Christmas, and then there were some things in the CLN that were changing, and now the lives are starting again. So you do have the link. If you're not part of the Conscious Connection, the Conscious Leadership Network, is what I wanted to say, you have the link under the video, and that is our community off Facebook. So please feel free to join that. We are in our series of the 12 profiles in human design. And we are every week on Monday night, we are going into one of the 12 profiles. And we have gone from kind of the top down. So now we are in the 2-5 profile today. And we're going to speak to you about the lines, so the 2 and the 5. We're going to speak to you like with the lines apart from each other and them together. Simone is going to bring in her gift of soul channeling, of soul communication. And we also have at the end of today a chart that we want to show you. And I only got one chart. I put this up a few days ago, and I only had one chart that was a 2-5. So this is a profile that isn't very common. We have, of the 12 profiles, we have 6 of them where it's about 15% of the population in each. And then we have 6 of them that are about 2.5%. So this is one of the profiles that we only have 2.5% of the population. And I would say that this is a quite challenging profile. If you have watched our new series together that we are doing on Tuesdays with Simone and Ashley and Tim is a 2-5 profile. So he could tell more about that. But yeah, for me, I feel like it is one of the most challenging. And the reason for that is that it has a very big projector field. Both the second line and the 5th line have that projection field, which means that they are going to often create misunderstandings and conflicts around them. If we start with the second line is what we call the dancer. It's that person who wants to be in ease and naturalness in life, and who loves to find somebody to dance with. But it's somebody who's picky. It doesn't like to dance with anyone. So that's why in human design, we call it a hermit. It's going to be called out on the dance floor. Somebody's going to knock at the door and see, oh my God, you're dancing on your own. Why don't you dance with me? And then the second line has to feel into, oh, are you the right dance partner or are you not? We have spoken about the second line, I think, in one of the videos before. The talent and the naturalness that the second line has is in the body. When we speak about the 5th line, it has that talent in the mind. But here we are on a kind of physical plane. So flow and naturalness and ease, marriage, fluids. There is a fluidity in how this person merges and moves. And we know that if there is, we also know that it has this kind of passionate feeling to it. And in that passion, if we go and look a little bit more on the shadow side, we have aggression or denial. So the second line can feel like, oh, when I'm on my own, I'm in my flow. I dance and I don't step on my own feet. But when I dance with you, it suddenly becomes like not that easy. So it must be you, because on my own, I'm good. So it's that kind of denial of your own, and possibly the blame of the other. So a really good thing for the second line is to know that relationships are mirrors for you. And when you learn to use that relationship, use that other as a mirror, you're going to learn so much more about yourself. You're here to move in relationship, to learn in relationship, not with everybody, but the one that you pick as your dance partners. And in the gene keys, we say for the second line, and the life's work and the evolution and the personality sun, we say breaking out of disappointment, because the second line can often feel that disappointment. Oh, I can't dance as well with you, or you don't really hear me, or like there are all these kind of things that happen in the mirroring the relationship. There's no reciprocity. So it needs to break out of that disappointment in relationship by fulfilling itself first. Because when the second line can commit to that flow in itself, to that ease, to that fulfillment, to that passion, that sacral attunement, then whoever comes in is going to just add to it. But if the second line expects that somebody's going to come in on a white horse and save it and fulfill it, then that is then that really makes it a little bit more complicated. And what more? Maybe Simone, you want to come in here and say something short about the second line. We're going to do the channeling for the 225, but is there anything that you feel wants to come through for just the second line?
Well, the second line wants to say to everyone that it loves with a big heart. And that's where it says that's where the complications come in. Because that heart includes the self as well as other. So there's what it's showing me pictures of is internal marriage and external marriage. And when the internal marriage is broken, it showed it to me like the internal marriage, and there was a lightning strike through it. So it's kind of broken apart. So when that internal marriage is cracked or not in union, then that also mirrors in the external world. And then it took those two pictures and then showed the field, the projector field that you were talking about, this big field, and it can enwrap, whether it's, the line 2 is in wholeness and union, or is almost divorced, if you will. So it could wrap love around that, which is what creates the challenge if it's divorced within the self, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm thinking about one word, inspiration, that I feel for the second line. When the second line is in that inner marriage and in its nature, it's so inspirational to look at them. And it's a little bit, if you're deeper into human design and you know about motivation, the second color is the color of hope. So there is some kind of feeling with the second line that it just kind of, it just like, I don't know, not jumps, how do you say, like it just comes through life. Dancing through life is maybe a good way of seeing it, and it doesn't get bogged down in some of the seriousness that a lot of other people might get bogged down into. And there is a vitality in the body. There is this wanting to merge truly. I think we said in another video, this even like the flow, which can even be the knowing the other through the liquids of the body, like the kisses and there's something really visceral. Here we are speaking about the sacral chakra, so there is this passion on it, and it's a little, we can also say, this is an important thing too, it's a little bit unaware of itself. That's why it's going to maybe point at the other, and it's not really, we kind of have to excuse it for that, because sometimes we're like, what? But just knowing that the genius that comes out from the second line is from it being unaware of itself, and from putting that out in the world, it's going to have feedbacks, projection back, so that it can know itself, so that it can know to understand what its effect is on others. So that would be, I guess, the last thing I say about the second line, but it really ties into the fifth line. Because when we look at the trigram, so when we look at the six lines, we have a hexagram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 6 lines are divided in a lower trigram and a higher trigram. So here we have the second line, there's the middle line in the first trigram. We have the fifth line that is the middle line in the upper trigram. So they are really kind of big brother and little brother. So we are speaking about many similar dynamics, with the difference that the fifth line is the line of the mind. So it has a talent with the mind, and it's somebody still going to be kind of inside. It might be called out, but more than anything, people are actually going to look at it through that curtain, see that it's sitting there and finding some solutions for the world, writing a book, like wherever it is, they're not so much going to see the person. They're going to see the solutions that mental talent is bringing to the world. And the fifth and the sixth line can be a little bit arrogant, because they have this kind of overview over the other lines, and they see a little bit the mess that it is to live from your root chakra, it is to live from your sacral chakra, it is to live from your fire, your third chakra, or it is to live too much from your heart. The fifth line would be like, oh my God, can we just make some order here? And it's using its mental ability to create that order. And of course, people can look at it and put it on a pedestal to be like, wow, this is our king, our queen that can very much solve all our problems. But it's going to be a projection field that if we give, if we give our trust to that person, and then it's not living up to our expectation, the whole thing can shift. So then we're like, oh, that tyrant that is trying to impose their solutions on us, we don't want him, we're going to vote for somebody else. So here we have the leaders that are speaking the truth from their throat, from the throat chakra, and that might have people that love them or that hate them. And there's this inherent feeling for the fifth line, being burnt at stake for what you say. And probably in the lineage of the fifth line, it has happened many times that you have had in one way or another, you were kind of killed for your truth. And this is where I want to again highlight and accentuate. Then you have that second line in your personality, the fifth line in your body. There is this double projection field. And also we say the same thing about the 3-5 profile, that vibrational leadership of the fifth line is hidden in your DNA. It's part of your body. But if you're not embodied, if you're not in contact with your heart and your soul, you are not going to have access to that. So you're going to have this feeling of knowing that there is something more that you're here to do, but it might be veiled in the disappointment of relationships in your everyday life, and of not being fulfilled, and of not being able to dance and to be in ease. And then you have this part of you that is so much wanting to come through, your leadership voice. So when you have the unconscious fifth line, it's even more important that the conscious line, the second line, can work in harmony, so that that veil in between the conscious and the unconscious, the personality and the soul, can open up and allow you to step into that leadership and to speak from a vibration that is the vibration that your soul is here to vibrate in, and to share in, and to find solutions through. So that's the way I see this. The 2-5 working. And Simone, I would love to bring you in if there is anything for just the fifth line, but also bring in for the 2-5 profile, and see what how does it speak to us, what wants to come through from the 2-5 profile.
The 5 wants to come in as the 2-5 profile, so we'll go straight there. The 2-5 profile starts by saying we are swinging, and it's like showed me a picture of a baseball player swinging the bat, and it says that we are swinging for the fences. It wants to hit a home run, and it knows that it's capable. It has the heart for swinging to the fences, and it knows how the game is played, and yet it sometimes strikes out. Like it just struck out and showed me its bat on the ground, like, dragging the bat, and it's important, it says, to have the full range of experience to hit the home run over the fence, to hit into the outfield, to hit into the infield, to hit it right to the pitcher, to bunt, and to strike out. That whole realm of experience from wholeheartedness is extraordinary for the 2-5 profile. And it's saying that the range of experience allows you to see where you're wholehearted and where you're not wholehearted, because the dance is not fulfilling when it's not wholehearted. The game is not worth playing. It doesn't matter if you're, hitting a home run every time. If your heart's not in it, it just doesn't matter. And that half-heartedness is a corruption to really be aware of. That if you're the 2-5 profile, look at where you're half-hearted and understand why that is. Are you on the right playing field? Is the playing field you're playing on? And it just shows me, it's using sporting metaphor. So we were on a baseball field, and, maybe you want to be on the soccer field. Maybe you don't want to hit the ball. Maybe you want to run with it. And so half-heartedness, when you have the experience of half-heartedness, it is, God, what an amazing thing. He said, when you have the experience of half-heartedness, it's a way to be alive, to feel alive. And it realizes that seems like a paradox, right? But it is a way to test yourself. Where are you half-heartedness? And are you pushing yourself through some experience as a conditioned response to move to wholeheartedness? And it's saying the way to wholeheartedness is not through half-heartedness. Stop, take a moment, breathe. What feels light? What feels fulfilling? What lights your heart on fire? Because that's a symbol of what's lighting your soul on fire. So if you can pause and do it however you will. It showed me checklists. It's like making a checklist of like, this is what I like and this is what I don't like, and then, it shows me another picture of just, allowing imagination to come through and to it's almost like scanning its life, like half-hearted. Oh, wholehearted. Let me move into that place in my life. And it's also showing me, like, if you think about the I Ching wheel, right, a circle, it's also spinning around, looking at the whole wheel, and it's asking the question, where have you allowed wholeheartedness into your life, and where have you chosen half-heartedness through a conditioned response? It says aligning with wholeheartedness and really using the tool of an awareness of half-heartedness will go so far in helping you really be all in. And it brought me to like a picture of the heart, and it's like, this is where it wants to be, in the heart. So let's, Bella, do you have any questions? You want to jump in and have a conversation here?
I'm wondering if we should actually go to see how this can work in a chart. And then I feel like there might be more insights that help us with a chart.
So exciting. Let's do it. Felt so light when you said it. Yeah.
So let's see. I think I'm going to start with this chart just to show you that the way we look at profile is that we look at the line or the decimal in the life's work and the decimal in the purpose. And you're also going to see that actually the decimal in the life's work and the evolution is always going to be the same. So here we have the conscious side, it's a decimal 2, so a second line, and the unconscious side is a decimal 5, and this is the unconscious, the body. So this is what makes a 2-5 profile. And here we see the 4 gene keys that we call the vessel of love. So on the top, we have the 46, we have the 25 in the evolution, the 15 in the radiance, and the 10 in the purpose. This is the cross of the vessel of love. It's the love of the body, It's universal love, it's the love of humanity, and it's the love of the self. So here we have a 2-5 that wants to be natural in all this love, and that also in one way or another is becoming a leader, a spokesperson for this love. And we can see in the vocation, it's a second line as well, that has to do with intellect and language. There is something with the expression of that love that might be in the beginning of life somehow not so easy to come through in language, not so easy to come through. The second line here is even the line of denial. So not so easy to make heard, or not so easy to hear if we weave the vocation. It's somebody who, again, needs to have that second line fulfilled first, need to trust, I want to be here in a body on this plane, 46, the love of the body. Need to feel like every time I get disappointed, every time life slaps me or something else slaps me, does that make me more disappointed? Does that make me more contracted, the lower frequency of the 25? Or is that slap, that shock, an initiation into a higher innocence, which is more love? That's really those two. This is the path of a challenge. When we have those two firing right, the 46, the love of the body, the naturalness of the body, the ignition of the sacral center, and using the shocks of life as initiation into more love. When that happens, the breakthrough comes of itself. And the breakthrough is about behaving in a way, moving in a way that through your own moving in the world, through your own behavior, you are role modeling, speaking a very powerful leadership, a leadership that I feel the main message of this leadership is love yourself, love the world. But also it's asking you to embody the vibration. So it's not a leadership that just says, this is how I say it. No, it's a leadership that in the aura has that vibration. So when we come back here to being a 2-5, it's what we were saying. You need to fulfill the life's work and the evolution if you are a second line. How can you fulfill the gift frequency, the delight and the acceptance, the love, the relaxation in your life's work and your evolution? And that is going to help you propel you into your leadership. And you can find the themes of your leadership in the gene key of the radiance and the gene key of the purpose. So that's how you would read the chart of your activation sequence if you're a 2-5. No matter what keys you have, you kind of just plug them in. How do I fulfill myself? What is the theme of my leadership? So now I would love you to come in with a 2-5 and this chart, or whatever is alive for you, Simone.
Well, it's interesting. We usually talk to the person's soul, and I haven't actually ever asked the line profile for feedback for this, or information, wisdom, love for the person we're working with. And what the 2-5 profile is saying to the person here is leverage what you know. And it shows me it like this. It shows me a circle. And it's showing like, okay, this is what you know. Right here. This is what you know. And it has this person standing in what they know and looking beyond what they know to what they don't know, and judging themselves or making their plan based on what they don't know. And so the line 2 profile is saying to this person, leverage what you know. Stand in your knowing and use that as your grounding. And it's not saying don't be a learner in your life. It's just saying don't move forward from that space outside of what you know, because you're here to, in a sense, lead from what's yours to lead from the self, from the embodied self. And so don't lead from, and don't be called, pay attention to when you're moving from what's outside of your scope, because that's not your gift. And it takes every person's gift. Other people are going to have those gifts that are outside of you. That's their gifts. Don't make yourself wrong or not enough because that's not your gift. You came with a body of wisdom. Own it wholeheartedly. Receive yourself. And it's from that embodied place of truly knowing who you are, what you own, your conscious, just showing me your consciousness embodied in that physical vessel that you have that is so natural for you to be in. Radiate from that place. Let that be your beacon of light. And then it just showed me kind of a transponder. And so it's showing me like, radiate from there, from what's yours, and embody that wholly. Leverage the truth of who you are. And the line 2-5 profile says you're going to see miraculous change in your life. Groundedness. It's like what I feel in my body is it said the word groundedness. It's like when you're really connected with this place, your taproot goes so far into Gaia. It's so grounded. It's so powerful. And when you're in this other when your roots are surface and they're going out into this place that's not yours, it feels like quicksand. It feels like erosion. It feels like an earthquake. It's like you don't have the grounding to move forward.
I love everything that's coming through, and I brought up this chart to just really confirm. So here we have, you see that this is the generator. So this center is filled in, and when we look at the gates, we're going to see that the 2-5 comes from the top on this side, right, and the top on this side, and all these gates, the 25, the 46, the 15, and the 10, are in the diamond of the self. And what I see when I look at what Simone was drawing is that the self, this is a diamond of the self, the incarnation cross, the 2-5 profile is in that diamond of the self. And we have a split here. We have a simple split, like a very small split, because it can actually, with just one gate, we would bridge the split. So it's a generator, and we need this generator to be in the part of the design that is connected to the generator truth, right? To the generator aura type. So it's so important that the grounding, like the grounding of this 2-5 profile is in the center. And what I see is that, there is a lot of like channeling potentiality in this chart. We have a completely open head, we have a completely open ego, we have a completely open emotional center. In my chart, I have those two completely open, and that's a lot of openness. I have one gate only in my head, so I feel some similarities because of these 3 open centers. We are extremely sensitive and extremely good at tuning in to everything that's outside of us, including the great mystery, what's beyond here. And what I hear you say, Simone, is that it's so important for this generator to be connected to the truth of the self, knowing who I am, knowing what love is, and knowing my direction. That is really, that's the place of the diamond of the self, and to be a little bit careful with everything that you need to filter through your open head, through your open heart center, through your open emotional center, so that doesn't become the compass for your leadership in the world. The leadership in the world is in your rhythm. It's in the cycles of beginnings and endings. It's in your own perfection and integrity. It's in your behavior that makes you love yourself. It's using the shocks as initiations, loving the body, and being the eternal child. not falling into the illusion, Code and Ring of Evolution 2832, of what might be a failure, or in a failure possibly for humanity. No, as you're grounded here, there is no failure for humanity, because you are the microcosm of the macrocosm. That's what's coming in for me. And I would love you to comment, Simone.
Well, the 2-5 profile, the soul of the 2-5 profile is saying that's it exactly. Of just affirming everything, that tying that wisdom right into the chart. It's beautiful. I'm asking if it has anything that it wants to add, and it feels complete. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the 2-5 profile, and I feel like even this chart showed us some of the challenges with it, and how important it is to be grounded in you, in your naturalness, in where in inhabiting you first. That's very important for the 2-5. That's how your leadership can come through in the world. And I would say, if you have this profile, we have the other videos that we did with the 2-4 profile, for example, can also maybe give some more guidance on the second line. The 3-5 that we did gives a little bit more of the fifth line in the body. I have gotten that question quite a lot the last weeks when I was posting the other videos. And the answer is, it does matter if you have a line in, there are two numbers. It does matter if the number is the first number or the second number. So there is a difference between a 2-5 and a 5-2, because one of them is conscious, kind of what you lead with. It's where your main challenge lies. And as you are, it's not really overcoming that challenge, but it's like, as you say yes to the challenge and can live it in a higher frequency, that's when the breakthrough can come. The veil is open, and you get access to that soul intelligence, that soul wisdom. So I would say, yes, there is a difference when we speak about the line in the profile, the order of them. That's important to know. Simone, any closing words? Anything else?
I was in love with the chart that you brought up, and I just tuned in with that chart, and I asked for a message, and it was just reminding you to smile.
And Simone, this is Kimberly, who we have worked with, who is in the inner circle in our membership group. So I think I wanted to, I was mischievous. I didn't want to tell you, but now I can tell you.
Oh, fantastic. So, Kimberly, your chart is just reminding you to smile. And some of it might feel like a grin and bear it smile, but when you're standing in the truth of your power, that's what it's guiding you to smile about. It's like standing in that column of you and smiling because you know the truth of who you are. You know the truth of what you're broadcasting. And if all you do is broadcast because it makes you happy, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like somehow that's for all of us as well. That, like, at the end of the day, when you boil human design down, it's about living your truth and nobody else's truth. So I'm going to take it for me too. And I wanted to tell everybody, since we are live, that we are right now doing a masterclass, a 3-day masterclass. You need to be registered. I'm going to mute you, Simone, I think.
Oh, sorry.
You need to be registered to do it. We were streaming the first day today on Unlock Your Design page. You need to register for the 2 next days. I will post everywhere the link for that for you. Of course, if you like this way of breaking down the chart and the profile, like today we really focused on the profile. The way that Simone and I tune in when we do a reading, it's not, the profile might be a way in, but it doesn't have to be a way in. But if you like this way, you can also reach out to us for personal reading, for soul blueprint readings. And what more? I guess that the other thing I wanted to say, it's not going to start yet, but in April, we're starting to go around the wheel of all the archetypes, of all the gene keys, and going deep into this way that we were doing today of interacting. Instead of interacting with the lines like we were doing today, we're going to interact with each gene key and kind of ask it and being in communication, in communion with it, as the sun is shining through that gate. So that is something that we are super excited about, and that you can also go to our website and find more information about. And that is starting in mid-April. So that's what I feel is alive. Is there anything else, Simone, that we should mention before we get off?
No, I think you hit it right on. I mean, portals of deconditioning are so alive for me right now. Our quantum prosperity class, we're having so much fun. We'd love to have you join us with that. And there's just so much excitement in the field. And we thank you for playing with us, co-creating with us. Bella, can you unmute? Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was muted. I'm just looking for the link and the information for the quantum prosperity, so you can. And you don't have to join live. It's like midnight in Europe, Central European time. So if you register, you will get all the replays. You will also get a gift from Simone. Her and I, we were recording a meditation that is super, super powerful about embodiment that is connected to your attraction sphere and what you magnetize into your life. So this is a gift for everybody. It's free for everybody. So make sure you register. Okay, and I think it's posted everywhere. So thank you for today, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow in the Quantum Prosperity second day. Bye-bye.